Hi, this is Quite Frankly Podcast because life is weird and we have thoughts.
My name is Joanne, and this is my sister Danielle.
Hi. So guess what we're going to talk about, Joanne?
Menopause.
It's our favorite topic.
Oh, is it?
No, not really. Not really.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love menopause. Go figure. But there are a lot of things that come along with it, you know. And I think that the thing that I really feel strongly and passionately about is, I mean, Joanne, you and I were just talking about it. Like when we were younger, I think we went out into the world with very little information about our bodily functions as young women. So I think it's the I don't know what else to call it. But when it comes to menopause, it's very funny the amount of things that I've experienced, much like pregnancy and post-pregnancy, that I had
Mom was pregnant all the time.
You would think I would know, but no, had no idea about. So I am past the pregnancy thing. So right now we're in the menopause stage. So I want to really bring transparency to what you go through in menopause.
I subscribed to the master class for a year, and they had a master class on menopause.
Woo.
And I gotta say, it wasn't worth it, by the way. Not the menopause, that was kind of interesting, but the amount I paid for it, and they're really for the people who are on the master class are ones who are way beyond me. And anyway, Halle Berry was on it.
Oh.
And she said, she's a big proponent of women knowing about menopause, but she said she went to the doctor and had all these symptoms, and the doctor said, "Oh, you're going through menopause." And she was like, "What's that?" I went, "You got to be kidding me." How did you not know?
Okay,
We at least heard the word.
Oh, yeah.
Remember they used to make fun of it. I remember an SNL skit where she's pouring out water from the hot flashes. I didn't entirely understand it. But
I think she might be older than us. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think she is a little.
Penny, shush, I'm recording.
Well, that's right. You have a different background.
Yes, but the dog was barking. I think she might actually, from what it sounds, she was barking in her sleep, which is kind of sad.
Aww. Do you know I'm going off on a tangent.
Okay.
Do you know I had a vet that says dogs don't dream? Like, okay. That's all I said.
That's crazy because you see them with their little paws that they'll start running.
Yes.
In their sleep.
It's like you clearly didn't have a pet. Actually, it wasn't maybe it was, but I had also a pet trainer who told me that dogs don't love. They see you as a resource. And my theory is, well, isn't that all love? They see you as a resource, but it's a trusted resource. When you get into trouble, you work as a tribe. I
think this might be a whole nother episode. Because
I just thought it was, give me a break, buddy.
Yeah. I was going to say, I could talk about that one for a hot minute, but okay.
Okay.
But let's go on to menopause.
Oh, sorry, menopause, yeah.
So I was actually doing a little research. I brought a notebook with me and everything, Joanne. But I also have my phone because, of course, I had to take screenshots of certain things that I had looked at because it was very interesting. So here are some fun facts. And I think most people that even have any kind of understanding of menopause know these things. That 75% of women in menopause experience hot flashes.
In America. Let's be clear.
Okay, that's probably America,
it's not probably. I did some research, not for this podcast, when I first went into it, in America.
And 75% of women experience night sweats because they're two separate things. I thought they were the same thing, but apparently they're two separate things.
I did too until I had a night sweat. And then I was like, oh, this is what that is.
Yeah, I started experiencing that only recently before, which is crazy because I've been in menopause for a few years now. But yeah, kind of crazy. But 2 in 3 women report sleep disturbances, and I think that's a lie. I think it's all women. I think it's a much higher number personally.
Oh, are you talking about all women, period, or all women in menopause?
I think in menopause in particular.
Yeah. I definitely have sleep disturbances.
Yeah. It says 77% of postmenopausal women experience low sex drive. I think that might be. I mean, that's possible. I'll.
How do you answer that?
Well, because I think that if you might have not have had a high,
I've only had it for. Well, when does menopause start? The
1
day
year. No, 1 year after the day of your last period.
Okay, so I've only been in menopause for a few months.
Really?
Really?
I've been for a few years.
Yeah, I think you're more normal than.
Well, that was something. The average age of full menopause is 51. I'm 53.
Do you know when I was 50, I went into the doctor's office and I was saying, because I was getting my period like every few months instead of like every 2 to 3 months instead of every month. And she goes, "You're too young to be in menopause." And I was like, "What? I'm 50." I think I was 49 maybe. Anyway, yes, 51. That's a good statistic. I couldn't find it anywhere when I started having, I think it's called perimenopause, when you start to have symptoms, but you still getting your period.
And that can even start as young as your 30s. Crazy, right?
We have had family members who started in their 40s, menopause.
Well, I mean, I have a feeling I was probably late 40s, early 50s. Like 49, I would say. By the time I was fully in it.
49,
so they have.
It took me 5 years to.
1 in 2 women experience mood changes. And I just feel like that seems kind of silly because, I mean, I don't know when I don't have a mood change. That's menopause or post-menopause or pre-menopause. Like, that seems strange. I feel like I need more definition on that one.
Yeah, because I would say I'm more steady, I think, when I was having my period.
Yeah.
But when I was having my period, I found how to control it. So by the time I got to menopause, I suspect I knew how to control PMS, that it leaked into menopause. So I don't think I have menopause. I should ask Gordon what he thinks.
Okay.
He hasn't said anything, and actually he does say it when I am con. He used to know when I was getting my period before I was.
I feel like it's hard because like there's been a lot of dramatic things that happened in the past couple of years. So one would say that my emotions, that's what I'm saying, mood changes. I'm like, dude, I've dealt with like death. I've dealt with job loss. I've dealt with, all these different things. And I'm like, yeah, I've been actually pretty damn steady, all things considered. I haven't started, running around screaming my head off. So I think that's a plus. Then they said, okay, this one
also, when we were younger, they say women who went into menopause went into these rages. I haven't had that, other than my normal rant. It's more like it. But I don't think that is as true. I think we've learned to eat healthier. I think that has helped. And that's how I controlled my PMS, at least, is the food.
So that makes a lot of sense. I'm eating so much healthier now than I have over the past couple of decades. So
I found saturated fat. This was before I knew saturated fat controlled your cholesterol. But I was playing around with different things, and I had found saturated fat caused my PMS. So I would wee. Well,
the one that I really genuinely relate to is 82% of women experienced memory issues. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm also ADHD, so that also plays into it. But add menopause onto it. How many times have you walked into a room and went, why am I here?
Oh, no, that's a scientific thing. They do believe, and there's a god named Janus who would be a doorway from the past to the present. But anyway, they did this study that found when you go through a doorway, it's like wiping your brain. So the doorway thing is not anything new.
Wait, what?
It doesn't wipe your brain clean. You're not brainwashed, but it makes you forget things because your brain is thinking you're entering a new realm. So your, what's that, temporary memory, short-term memory is kind of cleaned out. Like, you know, you have a cache in the computer. I'll have to find the study.
So what do you think? Like whenever
I'm thinking I'm making this up, but I'm not. I know I remember it was years ago that the study is.
So anytime that we need to like start anew or start fresh on something and clear our old, baggage, erase the chalkboard, so to speak, we just have to go through a lot of doorways.
That's kind of the short-term memory.
Right.
Now, what's also interesting that they found was when you had a traumatic event, like they find with soldiers who had a bad battle, they try not to let them sleep because your brain will less likely remember it, because when you sleep, you process it. And so it could be an association. If you're having poorer sleep patterns, you could be having poorer memory. There is a connection.
I mean, a lot of it seems like a big connection because, like I always said, sleep deprivation is like my arch nemesis.
Yeah.
I'm always fighting against that. It's a problem with me. But here's the thing. I feel like those are all things that I think a lot of people know about menopause. But then there's the ones like itchy ears. Did you know that itchy ears, the interior of your ears?
Oh, the interior.
Well, the interior, just in general, within the ear.
I'm finding like here is itchy. And it's weird.
Itchy
like,
ears out of nowhere is a symptom of menopause. Can you believe that?
That's because nobody thinks it is one and they're not going to report it.
Right. And then,
but I do get itchy ears. Okay, I have to go to the doctors in the next month or two. And I'm going to tell them I have itchy ears, damn it.
I know, report that. But there was a few. There was like, for instance, the frozen shoulder one. That one I didn't know at all until I had frozen shoulder. Like I woke up one morning, I didn't do anything weird. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything. And I couldn't lift my arm. I was like, what the hell is going on? The pain was excruciating. I also had it in my elbow. And my doctor's like, that's like a symptom of menopause.
Why would menopause do that?
I mean, I don't ask those kind of questions, Joanne.
Okay, so
But it's joint pain. It's certain joint pain. But they did say in the shoulders and the elbows, those were the two places that were most common. However, they also said grip pain, like you can't, loss of grip strength and stuff like that is also one of them. And it comes and goes. And I got to say, that does happen to me. It comes and goes with me.
I haven't had any of those issues, but I do, and I'm going to be a huge proponent of this. You get it free on PBS. And I say that because they're cutting funding to the PBS, and I feel bad for all those people who are losing their PBS station. But classical stretch with Miranda Esmundi White. She does the hands. She does shoulders. She does
this is why she probably does it.
And then
to help menopausal women.
She's 72. Well, the last season she was 72. They show like 3 seasons, and I think the youngest one, she's 66.
Now, mind you, Joanne, these are things that some of the things I experienced, and I didn't realize they were menopause. My doctor, okay.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
My doctor told me they were menopause, and then I confirmed it online. Like I looked up different things because I was like, that's crazy. So the list is involving all of that. These are different things that I looked up. The brittle nails that crack and chip very easily. I'm constantly taking bites and whatnot. Cucumbers.
Sorry. They're very good for your hair and nails.
Yeah. Well, I take biotin.
And also, there's biotin, yeah.
Heart
Biotin,
palpitations.
I had ridges. I've had heart palpitations all my life.
I've had them on and off. I just figured it was stress, but it did get more intense as I was going through menopause. In the beginning, it's diminished significantly.
Thyroid causes it too, and
I almost don't get them at all anymore. But it's been a few years.
I don't either. I learned it's stress related. Meditation really helps, and I would say that has. Have I had any recently? No. When I first started running, I had some serious issues, and that's scared me. But I run regularly now, and
also dry eyes.
I hope I don't get dry eyes.
I do,
miserable.
Particularly in the morning.
Oh my God, you have so many. Did you get these as you went along?
But I feel like they're small. They're small. Yes, they came in. They weren't always. It's funny because they kind of pop up. I have them for a few months, and then they would slowly disappear, and something would replace it.
So
that's why I'm like now going through night sweats and stuff like that. And I keep thinking to myself, okay, hopefully this is just like a few months and something else will replace it. Because I'm like, this sucks. It started only a few weeks ago for me. And I'm like, I thought, damn, I'm getting out of this shit. I'm not going to get that one. And then
when you first brought up, all right, let's do menopause. And I was like, all right, fine. And you said, I so much rather have menopause than my period.
Yep.
And I was like, not me. I'd rather have my period. And I just get hot flashes and occasional sweats. I'm not sleeping quite right, but I'm working on that and I'm getting better. But that's all I have at the moment.
Well,
and
part of my lack of sleep, though, is because I do have sciatica, and in my hip it's kind of painful, so I do tend to sleep on my side. So unfortunately that makes me sleep on my right side, and that gives you acid reflux when you do that. You shouldn't sleep on your right side, you should sleep on your left side. But if I sleep on my left side, it creates a lot of pain in my leg, so then I'm stuck like trying to sleep on my back, and it's just not comfortable to me because it still bothers my lower back because it's sciatica. And then I try sleeping on my stomach. Yeah, I do. I try. Use all. I've got so many pillows. It's just hard for me. And then now you got night sweats. Damn it.
But that's what I'm saying is, well, I did get a couple of night sweats, but not, I get soaking wet and like, ugh. And then it goes away, and then I'm cold, and then you put a blanket on, and I'm fine. But I'm not loving these hot flashes. I can't imagine I have to go through that crap too. Now, here's the thing. Somebody told me once you're in menopause, you're considered postmenopausal forever. Is that true?
I actually just read something about that. I think it's after a few years.
Yeah, I heard the average is 2 years.
Let me go look it up.
And at first I thought, I did 2 years. But if it's from the last day of my period, then no.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the one. That's the first stage. The first stage is, obviously the first stage is perimenopause. Menopause is 12 consecutive months. And then post-menopause is the period of time that starts right after menopause. Okay. You'll be in this post-menopausal phase for the rest of your life. During this time, your estrogen levels remain low. And while symptoms don't magically stop as soon as you are post-menopausal, many women see that they improve in severity over time, or it disappears altogether.
Yeah, I'd rather have my period. But I don't want to get pregnant.
Because I was uncomfortable. It happened every single fucking... sorry. It happened every month. and it was
curse.
moody. I was uncomfortable.
I got control of that. I was doing fine.
No.
And actually the last few years of my period, our family tends to get the heavy periods. But even that was going away. I'm happy to say.
Not me. But not me. And I hated it. So I was very happy. I was very happy. So the next thing I'm going to say is, though I don't have this issue too much at least, vaginal dryness.
I had that for one day.
1 day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went and got the cream. I forget what it was called, which brand. And I used that. And I did vitamin E.
I've heard vitamin
And
E
then
is
it
very
went
good.
away.
Yeah.
There's a vaginal cream you can buy. I want to say it was called Response, but I'm not sure. And I still have the box because I only needed one, knock on wood. I'm hoping it stays that way, but we shall see.
I'm trying to think of what are some of the ones. We have also on here.
That was not pleasant. That was not
hair
pleasant
growth
at all.
in unexpected places. Like
I have one hair that grows out and it gets long. I go, up, there's my beard.
yeah, I got one like I have a little, you can't really see it very well, like one simple little mark there. It's like if I was, more
I'll
like
trust
Marilyn
you.
Monroe, it's very faded. I have makeup on too. And I get this long hair. It's like one day, nothing there. The next day, 3 inches long. Like, what the hell?
Now,
Where the hell did it come from?
Gordon told me he gets these hairs now. He's one of those people who, shaves and he still looks like he needs to shave. But you get these burrs and it actually grows under your hair and then pops out. And I will say this, if I compare my hair, my one piece of hair to his beard, it's not the same. It's more hair-like than beard-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I haven't tested,
but it's not like the vellum
beards.
that is that like overall vellum, that soft downy kind of thing, which I sometimes notice is more than average than I used to have. So that's something, but it's still the same, translucent. But like that one, it's like a little comes out of nowhere, and it's like it doesn't show up for a long time. Then all of a sudden,
yes. And then it's like, and then you can't stop playing with it until you actually, because I don't like plucking it. I actually tried shaving it a little bit in the beginning. Oh, the plucking hurts.
I know,
but sometimes it leaves a little red light.
But if you pluck it well, you gotta like heat the area a little bit. Put a little moist heat on there, so that way you're opening up the pores. Then pluck it.
Good tip.
The good thing about plucking is that you have more of a chance of getting the whole hair bulb.
I know, that's why I did it. But A, painful. B, it left a little red mark.
You might want to put a warm compress on there.
Yeah, no, I'm going to try the warm compress. I haven't had it in a while. Do I feel it? No. I'm good. Wait,
so here's one that I never experienced. Actually, that's not true. I think I was going through perimenopause. I was experiencing it briefly, and then it stopped very quickly too. Hair loss.
Did I not say just before we came on air, I flipped my hair and shook it up, and I said, I think I'm getting, because I watch the videos before we post, and I see me look down for a minute, and I think, oh God, am I getting my hair? Now, I have my entire life had fine hair. I had it so fine that people thought I was going to lose my hair when I was younger. I was like, no, it's fine. And then as I got older, they're like, oh, you got fine hair. Your hair's about to fall out. But
you had fine and silky hair when you were little. I thought it was like doll hair. It was so pretty.
It still is. I used to have a lot of it. I think I do have less, but it's...
But I think you have fine hair like Mom did.
What's that?
You have fine hair like Mom did.
I never played with Mom's hair.
So I have. I've cut her hair. Her hair is very
I believe you did.
Her hair is fine.
Okay, then yes.
But the great thing is that the density of it didn't change much. In other words, it was always fine. And it didn't suddenly have like any kind of like bald spots on Mom's head. Not really. The density always stayed the same. It would frustrate her. She wanted her thick hair.
Yeah, you can't do much with fine hair, unfortunately. It's very unruly.
That's why she used to wear hair pieces when she was younger.
Out. Yeah, I remember.
She had some great ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so itchy skin or acne. I haven't had that issue.
I did break out the other day, which I haven't done in years. I did it when I was pregnant.
I had a singular pimple here, and it went away within like 12 hours.
Like, what I found interesting, it wasn't going away, and then I had to go out and meet people, so I had to put on makeup, and the makeup actually, I don't know what's in makeup nowadays, but it did a nice job in clearing that up a lot more. You could still see it, but it's not too bad.
What about fatigue?
Well, that would go along with disrupted sleep. But the last few days, particularly, there was one day I took like 5 naps. I don't know what's wrong, but
I always feel like when you got adequate sleep, but you need to constantly sleep after that, I really do feel like it's your body just trying to tell you, like, slow down, you got to rest, something's going on, and it needs to, like, use its energy to do something else.
There has been a lot of stress this past week for me, and I half think that's it.
So, I mean, that's probably... Okay, here's one that I didn't know, and it's very funny because I had it, and I didn't realize it was a perimenopause into menopause. It stopped, but I had it for 2 years in my 40s, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I couldn't figure out. I went to doctors and everything, and it wasn't until later I found out it was perimenopause into menopause. A metallic taste in your mouth.
Oh.
I had it for a couple of years.
Well, that sucks.
And I thought it was like blood or something, and I'm thinking, do I have an ulcer? Do I have this? And we're doing all this. No. And then it wasn't until when I got into menopause that she mentioned that as a symptom, and I went, I had that a few years ago. And she's like, yeah, that's probably what it was, perimenopause. I was like, what happens when you get a female doctor? Yeah. Stunning to me. That really sucked, because everything tasted like crap.
So have you considered HRT?
No.
I
mean, all right, considered maybe, in the sense of I've listened to it, I've heard about it, I've heard a lot of people having a lot of success with it, all that stuff. I don't think I have issues that really, like, I'm waiting to see if the issues are going to subside, because that's the thing I've always found. It seems to last for a few months and then it goes away. So, the only one that has consistently stayed was hot flashes, but the hot flashes are brief. It used to maybe happen once or twice a day, tops. It's literally like that. It's like it comes on, it's like this internal heat, it comes on, it's hot, and then by the time you're like have any wherewithal to be like this, it's already leaving. You know what I'm saying? For me,
nope.
It's super quick. Yeah. So
that's why you don't mind the hot flashes, and mine lasts for about 5 minutes, but I can feel them coming. It used to be longer, and I was having them like every 20-30 minutes. And then I started taking evening primrose and more soy, and that was helping.
I was going to say this. I started taking more natural.
Let me say this before I finish. The only problem with that is there's some people who can't take soy, particularly because it has estrogen in it. So check with your doctor, because I have met a couple of women who that would mess up their system. But for me, it calmed it down. But yeah, I will say this. I can feel it coming, and I get antsy. And for some reason, I'm not sure if I have to go pee, I feel it coming, or I'm not sure if it's the pee that's triggering it or the hot flashes triggering the fact that I have to go pee. But they seem to be related.
I feel, okay, so everything that I have read is like there's a few different triggers. It could be just that you're in a hot environment and it just takes you to that next level. It could be spicy food. Excuse me, spicy food. Peeing is not, it's a new one for me.
I was keeping, me and my data points.
I know, right?
I was keeping data points. I couldn't figure it out. I will say every time I go to bed, I get it. And every time I settle down on the couch. And I think that is heat. I also want to mention, and you may have read this, but the heat always, it's here. It starts it, and then your head feels like it's on fire. I remember taking Gordon's hand and having him.
It doesn't start there for me.
It's supposed to start there. If you look, that is one thing I did look into. It usually starts around the neck. But I put Gordon's hand there, and he was stunned at how hot it got. I was like, my whole head feels like that.
That's funny. I never, no.
I feel like paid attention now.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they do say it typically starts at the base of the neck.
Well, I mean,
and that's why I looked it up, because I thought it was so strange.
That's not typical, Joanne. There's nothing typical about me. I mean, do you take any supplements? Like, I do certain things but I haven't been consistent on, other than a few. Like, I am consistent on taking magnesium and calcium and stuff like that, because I do know bone loss is definitely an issue, and also muscle mass loss. So it's really important to like keep up with weight training and ensuring that your bones don't suddenly become brittle, because that's a symptom.
That's for guys and girls, you know.
True.
It's more susceptible. Women are more susceptible. But yeah, we do push-ups on our days that we don't run. And then I think I need to do more. But then I take the calcium. Mine is magnesium, calcium, and zinc with D, because D. helps with the absorption of calcium. I do take a multivitamin, but a lot of people argue they don't do anything. I don't know. I take it. And because I'm learning also there's a deficiency in vitamin A, I heard. I don't know where I heard it, though, so don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on anything, frankly.
That actually...
And then I took black cohosh, which I found it did nothing.
I just started taking it. I have found my night sweats have diminished a little.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I didn't really have night sweats.
Because I was waking up multiple times. Do you know when it started, Joanne?
What?
When I quit smoking.
Oh.
Go figure. That's when it started. So it's been a month. And I was like, the fuck? Like, why? It's hard enough trying to quit smoking. Let's add some hot flashes to it, or night sweats on top of it. Let's just make it worse. Yeah.
Well, that was like the I'm trying.
That's okay. But red clover is another one.
That's a blood thinner, so be careful with that. And I have thin blood, I think. My blood pressure is low, so you gotta be careful with the red clover.
All right, good to know.
And then be careful with the red clover. But I've taken evening primrose, which seems to settle it. And then in one of Dr. Christina Northrup's very early books, when she first came on the scene, she talks about maca.
You made me go on.
I know. I'm sorry. It's contagious. But we were talking about fatigue, right?
I know, right?
But anyway, Christina Northrup talked about maca in one of her really early books. Now she's a proponent of HRT, but it's usually sold to men for their sexual whatever prowess, but it's good for women as well. And that was a game changer for me. That and starting to eat maca, M-A-C-A. Oh, okay. And then that and I went on a vegetarian diet and tried to eat more tofu, edamame, and soy milk. And when I did that, that's when it went away completely. I was like, yay! But then I forgot and started eating my meats again.
What about Don Quai?
I haven't tried that one.
I just started that one. That's a part of the complex that I'm taking. And it does have the red clover, but it has a dong quai as well. And that's supposed to help with hot flashes, mood swings, and other menopausal. To me, it's just about like, I want to reduce the hot flashes. That's all I care about.
Remember to check I've never used dong quai nor did research. Red clover I did for something else, and
what I learned about the dong quai is that there's not a lot of consequential evidence saying that it definitively takes care of it. Not like some of the others.
Another podcast.
None of this does.
They're not going to do any research into vitamins and minerals because there's no money in it. The government will, but the government their budget has been slashed to nearly nil. So you're not going to see any research anytime soon.
What about ashwagandha? Did you try that?
I take ashwagandha. I don't like the taste, but I've had it as a tea. It's supposed to be very calming. And then I had it in a ginger candy, and it was delicious because it also came with cacao.
I like ginger candy.
It was ginger, cacao, and ashwagandha. But I didn't take it for whatchamacallit, and I don't recall it. I did take it while I was, recently. I didn't notice a difference. I didn't pay attention, though.
It's a thought. I don't know. Either way.
I think I'm tired of it, and I think I'm ready for the HRT. My problem is I heard HRT has issues with thyroid, and I have thyroid issues.
I don't know.
I'm not on any medications for thyroid, and I want to keep it that way. So
that's one of the reasons why I don't want to do HRT, because medications cost money.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah.
I was just watching this thing. I'm digressing just for a moment. I was just watching this thing about this couple with a family, because she had a daughter, who moved to Thailand because they were below the poverty line here in the United States. And they moved to Thailand, and they lived in Vietnam for a bit, and it was so much cheaper to live there than here, including medication and such. And people weren't believing her that she could do it. She quickly went over how she did it, her and her family. And you hear so many people now say how much cheaper healthcare is over. That's one of my biggest fears about retiring is healthcare.
Oh yeah. Because I think
we need to do a podcast about that and this whole concierge service thing.
Concierge.
Oh, you haven't heard? Should we digress and I can tell you what the pain in the ass thing about concierge is, or should we talk about it?
We'll talk about it in a separate one, because I feel like that we'll go down a deep hole on that one, because I have my thoughts about healthcare and everything else. Yeah. But I definitely would want to read up on what I do know and don't know. Yeah. No, I think that's important.
But if you look at her videos too, a lot of them says the U.S. is lying to you. It is so much cheaper to live outside of the U.S.
I just feel like when it comes to menopause, one of the things that I had heard back when we were younger was that taking HRT was problematic. It caused this to happen, that to happen, and that to happen. It wasn't healthy. And then you find out that that's not true. It was like a bad campaign. Hormone replacement therapy was going to destroy you. And then it turns out no, that was just a bad campaign.
I think what happened, from what I read when I read Christina Northup's book, is that there was 2 different types of HRT or something, and when you put them together, that was causing the issues. But if you only take one of them, it was fine. I don't remember what it was, but it both had to do with menopause. And she said, when you take them together, it's going to cause issues. But if you have a good doctor who keeps track of your medications, then it shouldn't cause any issues. think that's why.
So let me ask your opinion on this one.
Yeah.
When it comes to the symptoms of menopause, knowing that this is something that happens when you're going through this stage of life, do you think it warrants a medicinal intervention, since it's supposedly, like, this is something that I always found kind of fascinating, like even right down to a person that gets their period and might be like in pain and it's heavy and stuff like that. Remember on the old podcast that I did, I spoke to a doctor that spoke about hormones and all this other stuff, and she's like, you do realize that that's not normal to have pain during your period and to bleed that heavily? That's not normal.
The heavy period I knew, and I tried telling the doctor. I think they thought, well, I was whining.
Yeah.
I was like, do you realize, like, within an hour I fill a pad? And they didn't care.
They don't care. And the pain that comes along, that's associated with it, should not be
pain.
That. I did.
Well, in my 20s, I think the first few years, but then it went away.
No, I would have such bad pain on that first day that I'd be doubled over. In bed and trying to work and function, have kids and all that, like, it was horrible. So yeah, I was very happy once a month having to go through that pain. No.
Okay, see, I could see why you didn't want
for decades. But think about that. This is what women go through for decades. Once a month.
But that's because the medical I didn't have that. That is not normal, what you said. You said for decades, but that's not normal.
It's not like I wasn't going to a doctor.
I know, the doctors suck.
Multiple doctors.
The doctors suck when it comes to women's medicine. But let me answer your question about taking medication. Because I'm not a big fan of taking medication in general. So this is going to be a mini, it's going to be a little bit longer answer than yes or no. So I'm not a big fan of taking medications. Like I said, I have thyroid issues. I'm able to keep it under control under certain things, and I'm fine at the moment. And they even said you could go through a life without ever having to take hormone medications. I have Hashimoto's. But so with HRT, originally I was like, no, I'll just stick it out. It's normal human function. I'll do it. But the more I reading up on HRT and seeing HRT, they're actually saying you can live a longer life by taking HRT, that it prevents certain cancers with HRT. It helps stop the bone density issue, and it's more comfortable. So that's why I was thinking of going to check out HRT. But as you say, there is an expense.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to, it depends on what my insurance covers and.
Which, oh my God, we're going to have a conversation about insurance, Joanne, because that's right there. Like, I still don't understand why insurance can tell a person or a doctor what is necessary, what is not necessary.
That has always been an issue. I think even when we were younger, I think the issue today is the cost is extraordinary. Extraordinarily high. It was not nearly this high. And
okay, so I'm going to tell you something. I have
healthcare.
For those that do not know, I have 3 children. My eldest child is 27 years old. I had insurance for all 3 of them. My first one, I had a $5 copay on that first appointment, and I did not pay a cent after that. $5 copay. My second child.
When was this?
This was 27 years ago.
Okay.
Right? 22 years ago, I had my second child. Also went on insurance. It was a $25 copay, and I think we had to pay like a $100 copay for the hospital. And that was it.
Yep.
On my third child, and that's the same insurance. He was born 15 years ago. So it was the same insurance because it was the same job and everything like that. But we winded up having to pay, I think, $1,500 after all said and done. Now, I don't even want to think about what someone has to pay, because $1,500 was my copay when I went to go get a biopsy of my thyroid. That's after they paid 80%. The fudge? So, when we think of women's health, like, I don't understand how these things are not better covered. If we were able to do it 27 years ago, 23 years ago.
That's what we mean by how extraordinary the prices.
Right, because a lot of the younger
generation,
people might not understand. Like,
right.
And I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, look at us, we're so privileged because we got it all. No, that should be the standard.
Yes.
I would not have had a family. I would not have had a family if this is what the insurance was right now. And if they're wondering why,
that home.
Right. I just wouldn't have had a family. I would not have had kids, even though I love kids. And so I would not have had kids. And when I say they talk about the birth rate dropping and everything like that, take care of women's health.
Yeah.
Take care of women's health and pay for women's health when they're paying into
insurance. Take care of health care, period. Because you have to take when you have a child, you have to take them to the doctors like every 3 months in the beginning, and then it's every 6 months, then it's every year. So all of that is not $25 anymore, because we paid a $25 copay, and I only have 2 kids, so I didn't have those issues. But I look at it now and I think, how do these families afford going to the doctors just to get the vaccinations? Mm-hmm. It's astonishing. And we're going into what I also have an issue with, is our healthcare is based on the job that we have. And a lot of jobs are not paying for healthcare anymore.
No.
And when they say we want to raise our hourly fee, they say no. And then they say, well, we want healthcare. Well, they say no. It's astounding. It is astounding how healthcare has gone up. They won't raise the hourly wages of people. Our healthcare system is dependent on the job that we have. That's wrong.
I find it fascinating when you have healthcare that you're paying for, right? And you got to pay because, like say $600 a month, right? For an insurance policy. But yet the copay is still like $125.
Yes.
Like, think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. Like, you're spending that much money. That is cheap insurance. That is cheap insurance. Because, like, if you're taking that kind of insurance, because you can't afford anything else, right? So you're getting a cheap insurance. How are you supposed to have the money to be able to go to a doctor's appointment?
Right.
$125 is a huge amount. When you ask the doctor's office how much is an appointment, and you find out it's like $175, so you're saving $50, but you have to pay $500 a month minimum for what? A $50 discount?
And keep in mind, I'm also complaining about that we have to work for a good company in order to. My husband works for a very good company, a stable company. And still, we have a high deductible. We have to pay out of pocket up to $4,000 to $6,000. It depends on the year. It goes up and down. But $4,000, I'll just stick it being conservative. $4,000. It's like, do I go to the doctors for I say, no. I had a shoulder problem. I refuse. And no, it wasn't the frozen shoulder. I got it from a tennis thing. But I refused to go to the doctor. I was like, I got to heal this myself. I went to the doctor. I didn't even see a doctor. That's the other crazy thing. I didn't even see a doctor. I saw an RN. She irrigated my ear. It cost over $600 for that.
Yep.
And that I didn't even see a doctor.
Yep. Yep.
Astounding. I do my own irrigation now.
all I can say is, oh God, I feel like this is a whole nother topic, but I
know
it's something that
menopause to healthcare system in America.
Right. I do feel as though our country is in a state of which they are trying to get rid of all of these different programs that actually help people.
Yeah.
And it is without kindness, it's without empathy, it's without understanding. I mean, whether you're people that have money or you don't have money, doesn't matter. You're going to feel the effects of this. And ultimately, I think and
no matter what party you're with, you're going to feel the effects.
So the way I see it right now is the best thing that anybody can do. It's often easier said than done, but you do the best you can, is we can't rely on nobody other than ourselves. And
that's so funny you said that, because I saw I think it was 60 Minutes about preppers. And remember, we used to make fun of preppers, but I've
always been borderline prepper for decades.
I always found prepping just fun as a fantasy kind of thing, not as a real thing. But they talked to this professor from, I want to say Stanford, from a big college. He wasn't. And he said the same thing as you said. You can't rely on the government anymore. You have to take it. It's complete chaos out there, which is really sad that we're not a community anymore.
Yeah.
And he said, we're getting to a point where we can't rely on the government. And he had all these prepping things in place. He was in the California fires and was out in a half hour and had a safe location where they can. And he said, the reporter said, "Oh, a half hour, is that good?" And he said, "No, I was disappointed with that. We need to practice so we can get it down to 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. But then he asked him, "Would you do the bunkers?" And he said, "No, that's a bit much for me." There were people, those silo bunkers you heard about? There were people who were living in there during COVID.
Really?
Yeah, I was stunned too.
I did notice after COVID, there's a lot more, or at least I've seen on social media, and maybe it's just a social media trend. So, it might not mean anything, but I was seeing a lot of people that were suddenly like, screw the city. I'm going to go into the country. I'm going to get some property.
Yes.
And I'm just going to make now granted, that is partially my interest, because
a lot of people moved out here.
I've always loved the idea of having a homestead type kind of situation, but not the hardcore, but but the kind that, like, you have a garden that has a plethora of fruits and vegetables, that you can grow on your own. You have a few chickens so you can have your eggs. You hopefully have some solar panels, try to take care of yourself and keep yourself to a certain degree, but when it comes to Medicare, it's medical care. Sorry. It's tricky because that's a real thing. But I also feel, this might seem a little conspiratorial, but I'm having a hard time talking, Joanne. Conspiratorial.
There you go.
Conspiratorial, but it is what it is. I do feel there is so much out there that is making us sick. It's making us sick. That is normal in society. And getting back to whole foods, getting back to exercising and stretching and being more physically active, really consciously working on mindset and being present, believe it or not, spiritualism. I actually think if you really work on practicing all those things, how they hear about those people that healed themselves from cancer. I actually don't doubt the veracity of it. I'm not saying that everybody can do it or that you should. I think modern medicine was made for a reason. But with that being said, I do think that you can prevent a lot of things, like some of my symptoms right now. I think I can prevent some of those symptoms without having to go to the doctor if I practice certain things, right? Good, healthy practices. I am not going to sit here and pretend I am the healthiest human being in the world. I'm healthier than I have been, but I'm not the healthiest person in the world. No.
Well,
so if I am constantly,
who is the healthiest person in the world?
But I'm saying, right. But if we work on incrementally, slowly, in improving on these different aspects on our lives, we're going to have less of a dependency on the medical profession, hopefully, because we won't feel like every single thing is going to be needed to go to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why
that's when we can pick up some dirt and rub some dirt into it.
Because that is medical advice.
Yeah.
We always say to the kids when they're like, I got a cut. I was like, is it gushing blood? Because I don't want to hear it unless it's gushing.
Yeah.
But I will add to that, and I will say, despite wanting to be, I don't always trust now the studies that are coming out. I also don't like I don't like the government having these regulations. I believe in free trade. The free trade, because I've been hearing people say that lately. And at first I was like, yeah, I believe in free trade. And I'm like, do I? Pure free trade is a company can do what they want and not tell you. So they could put chemicals in something and they don't need to tell you. And I don't believe in that.
No.
So it's becoming an environment, not just, yes, you're right. We have to be careful what we put in our bodies. We want to exercise. We want to do all that. However,
but if we don't have transparency in what people are doing and we're consuming it, what are we going to do? And that could be on fruits and vegetables by what they're spraying on it.
Oh yeah.
It's.
Oh yeah. That, because I heard they're not checking that as well. The FDA and the USDA is not. They're not. And I noticed some of our fruits. I don't know if it's, but lately, I'm not going to go down that route. But I feel
like we have to start going down these routes, Joanne.
Yeah, but maybe not this podcast.
Okay. I feel like I'm having an offline conversation with you about this. I'm like, Joanne, some of these I think we really should.
I agree with you. But I will also say my biggest fear as I age is healthcare. And the cost of it and the quality of it. Because I even think, because when you go to a doctor's appointment just for a checkup, what do? They check your weight. They say, how you feeling? And I have had a doctor say, hey, I got this rash here. What is this? Well, you'll have to make another appointment for that.
Right?
No joke. And I was like, and pay another $500? I'll live with the rash. Thanks. It was eczema, but I was able to get rid of that too. But I fear, that's what I fear now is our cost of living for healthcare, because it doesn't seem to be stopping the cost. Like I said, that concierge thing just is, to me, showing how prices are going up. But yeah, we should talk about, actually, wouldn't it be cool if we got someone like Dr. Mike and
you've mentioned him before. I could tell you like
I know. I noticed I mentioned him twice before. I was like, oh. I went through a phase where I watched it a lot. I haven't watched him in a while. But we don't even have to do Dr. Mike. We could just bring a doctor in and ask him about this concierge thing. But that would be, I'd be curious, because it's hard to find doctors now because they're all going concierge.
Really?
Anyway, I digress.
I feel like I'm going.
Yeah. Well, remember one of our family members wanted to go to his old doctor and couldn't because he went concierge. The doctor went concierge.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he was a family doctor, not me, because
family doctor for decades. I used to go to him
for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I do. Okay. So Joanne, I think we're going to end this podcast episode.
Yeah.
And then I think we should immediately, you and I regroup and I'm talking about planting, regroup and talk about concierge,
doctors. Yeah.
Doctors. And I
might get some more tea.
All right. All right. So now that we've made plans on air of what we're going to do next, I want to say something that I forgot to say in the beginning. Thank you very much for subscribing.
Yes.
And
please subscribe.
And all this stuff. And we're
trying to get to 50 subscribers so we can go live. So we need 50. I want more, of course, but
yes.
Our goal right now is 50 subscribers.
Okay, so
hit that.
If you want to help us with our goal, do that.
If you want to see us live and answer your questions live,
they're we don't want to see these bitches live. God damn. But no, seriously, I think that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. And
we'll go live as soon as the week we hit. Well, it depends what week. If it's Christmas week, it'll be hard. But within a couple of weeks of hitting 50, we'll go live. Yes?
I want to hit 50 at the end of the month.
I just told Aunt Danielle.
I'm everybody, Andy.
Danielle. She doesn't know.
Kid.
They tell me I don't call you Aunt Danielle enough, which is pretty funny.
That's funny.
I go, but because I have a friend named Danielle, and I was like, not Aunt Danielle, and they're like, I know. And then when I say Danielle, I say, I mean Aunt Danielle. Yes, I know.
Okay.
I guess it depends on the conversation. Anyway, Danielle doesn't know it. So, yeah, are you in that 50? We'll do a live. I don't know what we'll talk about. Give suggestions in the comments.
I can think of 110 things. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I will talk to you later. Everybody, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.